was growing up, there was a very popular, actually #1 hit record back in those days called Turn, Turn, Turn. Lyrics by Pete Seeger, recorded by the Byrds. And the lyrics were actually an adaptation of today's first reading. But the reading, which depicts the sequence and the many activities that consume our lives, planting, sowing, reaping, laughing, dancing, even living, dying, everything. The song does not include the kicker at the end of the reading. That is the point of the whole reading that we want to consider at all times in the midst of those activities. He says that God has put the timeless into our hearts, and that we very often are unable to discern, that we do not see the hand of God working in our ordinary everyday activities. That is the point of the reading. It's not in the song, but we need to consider it. It's that reality that God is always acting, and that we long to know that, and yet so often fail to see it. That's the drama that is acted out in the gospel passage today, where our Lord challenges his apostles to identify who he really is. They know there's something there, but they can't put their finger on it any more than the rest of the people can. John the Baptist, Elijah, a prophet. But Peter is able to grasp and articulate it. He knows what he longs for. He recognizes that Christ is the fulfillment of that longing. And he makes the decision to put Jesus at the center of his life. And he will adhere to that in spite of his own failures and mistakes going forward. We are challenged to do the same thing, to put Jesus at the center of our life, because that basic longing in our hearts and our lives is not satisfied by any merely created thing, but by the Creator himself, and that he will draw us along to where he needs us to be if we remain faithful to him. That's why today's feast day of St. Padre Pio is so appropriate for these readings particularly. He was a man of the 20th century who himself was both a man of practicality, very down to earth, very, very earthy, you might say, and yet a mystic of the highest order. He united both that longing for God and the fulfillment for God acting in his life that we all do. And I think the prayer of St. Padre Pio, which he wrote and so often said, sums up both the theme of the readings and his own holiness as well. The prayer of Padre Pio says this: "Stay with me, Lord, that I may never forget you. Stay with me, Lord, because I'm weak. Stay with me, Lord, for you are my life. Stay with me, Lord, for you are my light. Oh, how I need you, my Jesus, in this night of exile. Stay with me, my Jesus, in the breaking of the bread, the light which disperses all darkness, the force that sustains me, the unique joy of my heart. Stay with me, Lord, to show me your will. Stay with me, Lord, that I may hear your voice and follow. Stay with me, Lord, for I desire to love you. Stay with me, Lord, if you wish me to be faithful to you." That staying with us is most perfectly fulfilled in the Eucharist.